Have you ever had a Roy Rogers? It's a cola drink with grenadine topped with maraschino cherry. Or maybe you've been to a Roy Rogers restaurant. Or maybe you actually know who singer and actor Roy Rogers is. From the mid-1930s to the 80s, he was in hundreds of Western cowboy films and TV shows, and even had his own TV show, but we are not here to talk about Roy Rogers today. Instead, we're going to be talking about his friend and fellow musician, Spade Cooley. He's the guy with the very forced smile on the right. Spade, whose real name was Donald Clyde Cooley, was a swing musician himself and played the fiddle. He was also an actor and TV personality, but his music is what he was most known for. Back in the 30s and 40s, big band musicians were considered the rock stars of their days. In 1948, Spade began hosting a variety show hosted in LA. It even won 2 local Emmy Awards. However, by 1956, the show's ratings began to drop. This was mainly due to the fact that Western swing music was not really as popular anymore, and rock and roll was kind of in. And in 1959, his show was unfortunately cancelled. But the show didn't only end because of the music, it ended because he was an abusive alcoholic. He would terrorize his bandmates who he would fire and then apologetically rehire the next day. Sometimes he'd do this to his family, and most notably his wife, Ella May. Ella May had been a singer in Spade's band. When his show ended, the two had been married for 13 years. The entire time, Spade thought Ella May was unfaithful. And this is where our boy Roy Rogers comes back in, because she was unfaithful. In either 1952 or 3, she had an affair with Roy Rogers. In 1961, Ella May finally told a friend about the affair, and she soon asked Spade for a divorce. Now, don't go feeling too bad for this guy, because he had tons of his own affairs, so it wasn't like he was completely innocent in this either. Although it probably especially hurt considering he and Roy Rogers were friends. Though they were getting divorced, Ella May promised Spade that she would love him until the day that she died. Well, she wouldn't really have to wait that long. One afternoon, Spade drunkenly showed up to Ella May's house that was out in the Mojave Desert. What happened next, we have no idea. However, their 14-year-old daughter Melody walked in around 6:20 p.m. She noticed her dad had blood all over his trousers, and he took Melody by the arm saying, "Come here, your mother's going to tell you something." He brought her to the bathroom where the shower water was running, and Ella May was on the floor, probably already dead. In front of his 14-year-old daughter, he used a lit cigarette to put out on Ella May's arm to see if she was dead. Thanks to his daughter's testimony, he was quickly found guilty. He was sentenced to life in prison. However, he was set to be released on parole in 1970. Then Governor Ronald Reagan was going to pardon him, but he died in 1969 before they got the chance. What are your thoughts on this case? It's pretty wild.